3.
Hey everybody, it's Steve and Tammy again. Tammy's got the phone, so you won't see her yet. She'll be on one of these videos soon later. Anyway, we're back today with the build of our 2007 Ford E350. So anyway, one of the discussions we had last night after we made the first video yesterday, we noticed that everybody, well maybe not everybody, but most people had given their van, their camper, a name. And we thought, geez, you know what name? And there were so many thoughts and ideas. Finally, we came down to it. You know, we're the 2P 4D one van. You know, 2 people, 4 dogs. I said, well, what's one more dog? We'll just name it White Dog. So that's the name of our van, is White Dog. So White Dog here today. We're going to talk about the roof on Ford E-Series vans, 150, 250, 350. And the reason we're talking about the roof is several things. I spoke in yesterday's video about the fact that this was a service van, a city service van. I bought it at auction, and it had lights up on the top, strobes, front and back, and the signals are hooked up to a strobe, and I had removed those, and in the process had decided that I was going to use some of the wiring and the holes in the roof to wire some LED lights of my own. So I've got a 32-inch bar, a 42-inch bar, and 2 spots coming that should be in next month, and we'll be mounting a bar in the front, one in the back, 1 spot on each side. That way, when we need to see on a road that doesn't have street lights or lighting, you know, we're going to do some off-grid and do some boondocking. So we're interested in seeing the places you don't normally see. So we're going to want some light, and at night it's going to be nice to be able to flip the switch and you know, turn on lighting that will let us see where we're at and, you know, where things are. And you know, we want to set something up, a canopy or something, or you want to open the back doors and do whatever. So anyway, that's one of the things pertaining to the roof. One of the things I didn't talk about in the first video is I plan on doing a fairly extensive solar system on this thing. I had a very good friend of mine who is totally off-grid with a very huge complex. You know, he's major into it. He donated some panels that he had moved away from and gave me 4 29-volt, 240 amp solar panels. So I've got enough to make almost a kilowatt of power with those. The plan is a couple of lithium batteries and a good inverter, a good charger, you know, include alternator and shore charging as well. Give me enough to run whatever I want, you know, for as long as I want. So mounting the solar panels has been one of the issues that I had to deal with. They are a little long, and they are going to hang over the outside of the roof by 1 inch or 2 on each side. But that doesn't really create too much of a problem. 40 inches wide, I can run 160 inches down the top of the van and make that work pretty good. So anyway, in the process of doing that, I had to think about mounting. So my thought was, this is an E-Series, and it has a gutter system on the top. Tammy, you paying attention? So we got a gutter like this that runs from the front windshield all the way around the van and back up the other side. This is where the roof panel, which is one piece, joins the body when they're building this thing. So this is actually a joint right here where that panel meets the body, and it's spot welded all down along there. But to seal water, what you doing? To seal water and moisture out from getting past those welds and those seams, they use a seam sealer in there. So Tammy, hand me the phone, hand me the camera there, and I'm going to show these folks what I'm talking about up here. So this gutter right here is filled with a product called seam sealer, and it's kind of pliable, but it sets fairly firm. And the challenge you run into is that with time, this stuff actually shrinks a little bit, and it separates from the roof line right here. And what happens is water lays in there, and it begins rusting, which is what had happened to poor old White Dog here. And it had a nice, maybe about an inch of rust going around this base here. And you don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff when you're down on the ground working on things, but when you get up here and start looking at it, you're thinking about putting ladder rack across these things mounted on the gutters, it becomes a little bit of a concern. So I'm not a body and fender guy. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a paint job.
You can flip that to your face.
Oh, I can flip this to my face.
Right.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. Hey, there they are. So anyway, guys, I wanted to make sure that was decent. So I spent some time and work on this, and I sanded that all out, cleaned it out, got all the rust out of there, and cleaned it all down. And I got some good, decent spray paint. Duplicolor is your local auto parts place brand that they carry, and they duplicate factory colors real close. The Ford color that's used on these white standardized commercial vans is called Oxford White, and you'll find cans of that there on the shelf at any of your auto parts places. And doesn't matter which auto parts, they all have the same stuff. So I put a good coating of primer down where I had bare metal, and then I applied the Oxford White over top, and then a clear coat over top, which they also have in spray cans. And then once that's done and it dries and sets good, then I wet sanded and buffed it out as best I could. Spray cans don't work all that great, and trying to blend that into an existing paint job is kind of tough. But I did the best I could. It is sealed now and a good solid surface. And down along this line, right here, along here, in this gutter, I applied some sealant that is similar to the Dicor that they use on rooftops, on RV rooftops. I forget what brand it was. To be honest with you, I'm not all that impressed. The Dicor is probably better. It is a nice self-leveling product. You can see I used some of that on screws that I put through the holes in the roof here where that amber strobe had been. And it doesn't self-level out nice like the Dicor does, but I believe